Oh, because we could totally screw this up. Who cares? Yeah. First run of the Bulls. Well, we're live, by the way. Yeah, it's cool. What's up? What the?
Pleasure.
I totally screwed. We're gonna be late for me. I didn't have chat ready. This is chat. Because of chat. It's all... I blame all of them. All of those chatters. Chatterboxes, one and all. Well, I don't know. Can you... Alright, I guess we'll go, we'll give it 20 seconds. Yeah, we're live. We're live. 10 seconds. Sure. 5, 4, 3, 2, and we are hi. Welcome.
Hey.
Hey, it's what is it? It's Monday.
On?
Monday, January 18th.
All day.
Why do people say all? I don't understand why people say all day. It just, I mean, yes, we know it's gonna, whatever.
Thanks.
It's January the 18th, 2021, and welcome to Not Your Average Show. Me and co-host here, I'm Mike. On the couch today in the live studio is Mr. Corey.
Hey, what's up? And I don't know if you guys can see, Roscoe's here. Shall I?
Oh yeah,
Roscoe.
Yeah. Disturb the.
Roscoe.
Disturb the Doge. Oh, it's so nice.
And he's like, I'm tired.
He's like,
he's
I'm
literally
tired
laying down again.
He just lays. That's all he does.
Yeah,
he's like, I just lay.
He's already done.
So it is Monday.
Okay.
We got lots to talk to you about today. You know, we never discussed who's doing the intro, so I'm just going to do it.
You can do it. It's fine.
I knew it. It's mine.
It's all good.
So what do we got? All right. So X-Plane Laminar Research Company has released about a month ago Starship. You know, if you're familiar with SpaceX, Starship, the thing that goes all silver and then comes down, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they got a simulator for the iPad, iPhone, and Android, which we're going to mess around with and give you our thoughts and reviews on that. Then there was a massive test fire for NASA for their SLS moon rocket base system. That was this week, and we're gonna take a look at that for a little bit. Also, my buddy Corey got himself into the Boundary beta test program.
I did.
And you know what he forgot to do? What'd you forget?
Well, to bring the camera to today's show.
No, that's not what you
Besides
forgot. No, what did you? He forgot to send me a key to get into the beta program as well. So somebody
early
else,
enough.
Yeah, somebody else didn't get a chance to get into the beta, so I wasn't in the beta. But we got some stock Boundary footage for you, and then Corey is going to give us his feels on that.
Talk a bit about it,
and then I think we're going to also talk about the Rolex 24s coming up in 2 weekends.
Yep.
And we're going to look at the entry list. There are a couple of changes there for Wayne Taylor Racing. They've bounced over to the Acura. Also, Jimmy Johnson and a bunch of, I think, Almendinger and a few other NASCAR guys have jumped into the Alley car. So that's something that's going to be interesting. And with that said, it's another week on Not Your Average Show.
Monday, and stuff's happening. So let's chat.
By the way, I wasn't going to bring up the fact that you forgot the camera.
It's fine. I mean, it's a live show. It's all good. You know, chat. It's all good. Like, there's 2 cameras here.
Right.
Well, there's 2 cameras, right? But the one that's on the couch was not present when I arrived at the studio.
Right.
So I had to get it.
So here we go. So there's another camera. You can see the screen right there, right? And there's that camera. So that's a transmission carry. So it's camera. So Corey takes that with him back and forth, so he can use it for the live stream shows. So we have a better quality when he's there.
Yeah, a bit remote.
Right? So, and that was it. So we did 2 live stream shows on Wednesday, Thursday, and during that, Corey took the camera home with him. So when he got here today for work, and I'm rifling to the bag, I go, oh, so you got a new camera case? He goes,
no.
Nope.
No, that's my other camera.
That's his.
That one doesn't work.
That one doesn't work with this.
I mean, it works, but it doesn't work with
this camera. But
it works to get footage, guys. You'll see later anyway.
So we were a little delayed getting to you. But look, this is the thing that happens with a live stream show, right? And this is part of Not Your Average Show. We take you a little bit behind the scenes on the stuff that we're using to get this done. And this is a 2-camera shoot. So we have we're mixing 2 cameras. We're mixing 2 audio sources. So the other day, let's just recap the problems that we've had so far. So we've had an echo on the first one.
Yes, right? I had some nice viewers who thank for watching the show, but they pointed that out too. Yep.
So we had echo.
Yep.
Also, we've had When I was doing screen share in the remote show, Corey's audio dropped. That was another one. So we couldn't do anything with that one. And what was the other one? There was one other technical. I remember what the other glitch was.
We're having. Well, we have Stream Decks. We use Stream Decks to control the show.
Yeah,
and they're really nice. If you guys haven't played with Stream Deck, and that we can, it's an Elgato product, and it's great, and
it is fantastic.
But it does a lot of things other than just work for streamers.
Yes.
And this is totally not a plug for that or anything. I'm just kind of talking through our growing pains, let's call them.
Yes.
And so trying to run multiple Stream Decks with different profiles because we use them for just the show, but also for gaming and other things.
So yeah,
you can use it for productivity and everyday working on a computer. They're really cool.
Yeah, they're really cool.
But anyway, yeah. So
I don't know if you guys can see this, but this is an actual Stream Deck. So basically, when we hit a button, we can bring up different graphics and change different angles.
Super cool, yeah.
In the show, so we can do all this just by highlighting different buttons. So basically, it's a very rudimentary switcher. And for this particular setup, what we've decided to do is rerun 2 of them. And their software, I guess their software is not super intuitive in that respect.
It's good. I mean, the things you can do. Yeah, we can talk about that later.
We'll get there. There's so much that we end up doing. So there's literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
There's a few things happening.
7, 8. We have 8 sources of information all coming into one pipe when we're doing this. So, and then we have a mixing solution that basically has to do it mostly digital. And by doing such, a lot of work.
Yeah.
And and that's all being pumped into a MacBook Pro running off of an i9 processor. So part of that is, what we're doing to make this work. So this thing's actually running at 2.4 gigahertz up to 5 gigahertz, but it can supercharge itself. It's also got the Radeon Pro 8 gigabytes on board. It's a beast, and it's running 32 gigs of RAM, and it's actually got a 2 terabyte drive on it. And that's all piping this through to get to you guys. So it's not like it's easy.
There's multiple facets.
Right, yeah. There's multiple facets. So you see all these other guys on YouTube.
There's a few things happening.
Yeah, and they're telling you how to set these things up. Well, it's great to set it up until you have to run a show with 2 people trying to talk at the same time. Stuff. Sure.
And it's live.
And it is live.
It's not edited. True. It'll get edited, but you get the idea.
True. Okay, so with that said, how about we bring up... I'll go right into some basic information on the new game by Laminar Research. How's that?
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to take control here. So if you guys have ever wondered what it's like to fly a spaceship, there's some great sims out there for your iPad, your Android device. One of them is a spaceship shuttle lander that's been one of my favorites for a long time. X-Plane, who was created by Laminar Research. X-Plane 11 is basically their competitor to Flight Simulator 2020. Theirs has been around for a pretty long time. It's got an avid following. There's arguments whether or not they have a better flight model, so on and so forth. And as such, they have decided that they wanted to release their version of basically a Starship simulator. And I had a chance to play with it. And interestingly enough, this one is, I think, arguably, it's a game and a simulation at the same time. It's got some really good elements to it. And when I say really good elements and how basic it is, it's very rudimentary in its approach. However, that being said, it does have the basic layouts of any sim. It's got the basic elements that you would like in there. And especially good sound. And I'm just going to... This is some stock footage, right?
Yeah, that's stock stuff.
This is just stock. And this is basically just to give you an idea of what the game looks like. This is me doing a short hop, trying to make it from one pad to the other, like the Starship. Now, if you people don't know, the Starship is SpaceX's attempt to build an all-steel, massive exoskeleton spacecraft that's going to travel up into the upper atmosphere and then basically turn into a lawn dart and return back to Earth. This is me attempting to just get it from one pad to the other, in which I was like, I got it to go straight up and come straight down, and I still missed a little bit. But it's a fantastic game. It also has a couple of different modes to it.
You didn't lose it.
What's that?
You didn't have a rapid disassembly.
No, I did not have a rapid disassembly, which they did recently in their setups. What I did do, though, was I actually got one, and this is just for reference, to kick it old school and go for the full-on flight. I did get it to altitude, which was pretty nice. And then I shut it down, and I was like, oh, let me see where this thing's gonna go. Let's just check this out.
What's your altitude there?
So I got up to 13,000 or 13K, as they do it in K.
Yeah.
And I sat there and I was like, oh, this is pretty. And some nice external views, right?
Cool.
It's got all the, so for simmers, it's got all the views. It gives you the HUD. You only get this little basic interface in the middle, though, to share with yourself as if you don't want to go to the internal camera. It does have the cold gas thrusters. It tells you how long the thrusters have available, the air, the G load, so on and so forth. So all the facets of flying this SpaceX Starship, which nobody has physically flown on yet, are there. As far as the sim goes and its basic elements, it's fantastic. If you're a real space fanatic and you're trying to get something done where you just enjoy gaming in general, you like space sims, and you're really interested in how this machine actually works, it's actually well designed. Everything that I could understand about the articulation of the spacecraft, how it returns back to the pad, is functional. And in a minute here, we're going to give Corey a chance to give us his feedback, because he's actually not tried it before.
I downloaded it 10 minutes ago. So this will be great. This will be great, showing my gamer chops right here, live TV.
There you go.
Having never even opened the program yet.
Which is perfectly fine. So, and that's the best part about this, right? So graphically, it looks fantastic on the iPad Pro. As far as functionality, it's really good, although it does not actually use joysticks. You can't use an external joystick. Unfortunately, they don't work, so you have to do it all by tilting the actual screen.
That'd be great.
But you can do different missions. So you can do the single hop, you can do the 15K hop, you can also turn around and do a Mars takeoff, Mars landing.
That's cool.
And there's about 5 or 6 different scenarios. And it also comes with a fantastic set of tutorials. So it'll actually take you through and explain to you via video what process is necessary for you to go ahead and take off and land one of the starships. There's also some helpful tips inside the game that'll tell you when it's time to start up the Raptors for fly, and when it's start to shut them down, and when to start the Raptors to land, and to get yourself in line for basically what's called the landing sequence. Now, as you see, I'm coming in. I'm trying to stabilize here. It can be very difficult. It is very, very touchy. And as of yet, inside the options, there is no way to change the sensitivity of the controls.
Whoops.
And as you can see,
that
through
gravity thing's going to get you there.
Kaboom! Whoops. It's over. That was it. And here's just a small shot of the interface for you guys, right? So, with that said, I think we're going to ship it over to Corey's, and we're going to see what he can get himself up to on the new Starship game. So, you're live.
You ready? Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Hit the open button.
Oh, you got to tilt. There you go.
I'm tilting it.
Adjust your volume so it's comfortable. It should be comfortable level. You're 50%.
Are you going to get the volume through the cable and my microphone?
No, you're good. Well, you might get a little bit of either. Who cares? I can turn one or the other off.
It's like that volume sounds right. I don't hear anything.
They won't. Volume test. I can hear it. Go ahead. You're good.
Okay, fine. What should I do? Should I
do the 15K skydive?
The brief? Yeah, I get a brief.
Well, play the brief.
Okay, now it's time for the next mission.
So these are those briefs I'm telling you guys
test
about.
Flight that they're starting to fly now in Texas. At the moment I make this video, serial number 8 has already flown and demonstrated about 99% of what we're about to go through.
And slightly entertaining, I think.
And serial number 9 is just doing its static fire and hopefully getting close to showing us everything that I'm about to explain. So here we go. We start off on the launch pad, and this is what we're going to do in the app. Same thing as the real rocket's going to do. The explanation applies equally to the real rocket and your use of the app. You start off on the pad, hit the Raptor's takeoff button. Up you're going to blast off. Interestingly, because Earth's gravity is so high, we're not completely full of fuel
for flying
like
or
we could be on Mars. And we're also only running 3 engines, even though the ultimate rocket will be equipped with 6 engines. So it's kind of a light fuel load, light thrust case. You're not really pushing the rocket to its extreme, that's for sure. But up you'll go to about 40,000 feet or so. And when you shut down the engines, and I'll give you a little warning telling you when to shut down the engines so you don't run out of fuel, it'll probably just kind of roll on over due to inertia. And your goal is to tilt the pad. Because remember, you tilt the pad down to lower the nose,
and
tilt the pad
you should
up
hold it
to
pretty
raise the
steady.
nose, tilt the pad left to go left, tilt the pad
that's
come right.
So
it's tilt. Oh, God.
Yeah.
You're going to tilt the pad
Oh, and here's the best
moving
part
these
about
fins,
this, though.
right? As these fins move, that's
It's
what's going to
free.
maneuver the rocket.
So you
and
really
take a
can't
good
go
look
wrong.
at how the
Yeah,
fins
I
move
mean, it's
to get
still
the
super
rocket
cool.
to pitch
Yeah,
forward.
but it's hefty. It's
But-
like, what is it, 3.2
Try
gauge?
and tilt the
3.7.
pad
3.7
so
gauge.
that you get the ship in an attitude about like this, maybe 30 or 45 degrees nose down, aimed at
That's
the
an
landing
interesting
site.
dynamic.
If you can get that nose 45 degrees down and the ship aimed at the landing site, then sure enough, you're going to glide over to the landing site like an airplane. You'll
Glide, I would use as a
glide
term
right on over
loosely.
the site. Then,
Controlled
once
fall.
you're getting
Controlled-
close to the site,
Controlled
raise
bullet
the
descent.
nose so you don't just overshoot it. You see, raise the nose, and if you do a perfect job, you'll be right over the site in a belly flop attitude.
Hinging, thrust.
For the
or lift
belly
vectors.
flop.
Ride your belly flop
Or
down,
drag
right
vectors.
over the
There you
landing
go.
site.
You know what's kind of
right
interesting?
over the landing pad.
Anytime that you would
And
have
I'm bringing
in
up a little
space
counter
a
for you.
belly
It'll
flop
say
maneuver.
engage landing raptors in 3,
Well, it's in
2,
atmosphere.
1.
Yeah.
And if you engage the landing raptors
Wouldn't work
at
unless
just
it's
the
in
right
atmosphere.
moment, the tail will pop down.
But you're taking a
and she'll
spaceship
tail
and you're
sit
going to use it as a
right
belly
underground
flop
using,
moment.
a little auto throttle I wrote for you.
thinking
Big one
about-
too.
And you can tilt the pad
It's not small.
now to vector the
It's like,
rocket
it's oh, time
to
for
go
your
ahead
747
and
to
move
land
the
in
craft
London
around
on a
itself
belly
right in
flop
the middle of your
maneuver.
landing pad. It's
All
not
right.
the easiest thing in the world, but I can do it.
Is it about done?
A question you might
just
be
go for
asking
it?
is,
Yeah, go for it.
why
You're
would
good.
you do
So
that?
yeah, there's some
Why
great
blast-
tutorials in there.
Oh,
And,
man.
So this is Corey going in for
Fly.
the big
We're going straight.
15K. So
Hold
now
in
you
a
got to
flight
hold it
neutral.
straight. Straight. Don't move. This is it. All right. So it's Raptors flying, and I enable the the cold gas thrusters before I take off. That's what I do. So you just tap that, and then
Have it.
yeah. Now I'm gonna let you go on your own. What?
You gotta hold it.
Yeah, you gotta hold it.
Oh, I thought the guy said he gonna shut him down automatically.
No, that's if you forget. Look at him go, ladies and gentlemen. Uh-oh, it's getting a little pitchy on him.
Oh, scheisse.
Don't try this at home, folks. Alright, interestingly enough, you can see those nice vector dynamics
Yep,
and the
yep.
graphics. That's cool. And it also gives you a little Hansel and Gretel style breadcrumb off the back end. So you can kind of use that to reorientate yourself as to where you might want to go. But so far doing good, climbing a 6K. 264 meters per second. Not bad. So usually somewhere around 37 metric tons. He comes on and says, "Wait, want to save some fuel for getting back down."
37. Okay.
Or you
Usually.
might shut down to save some fuel for landing.
So there you go. See, you said it a little early. So reaching that golden 5K mark seems to be a little bit more difficult. So now
Uh-oh.
it's time for Corey to aim.
I need some inertia. How do you fire the thrusters?
The cold thrusters, it does automatically.
Okay.
So now you're just a metal big.
Yeah. Now things are not going well.
Well, push the nose down.
Uh,
Get the. You can do this. I
Oh.
have complete faith.
What
There it
about
goes.
views? Where the F is the landing view?
You really can either go to cockpit, but there's not much to see, so you can really just circle around with your 2-finger swipe. Oh my God, it's lawn darting.
Hold on.
It's coming
I
down.
need 45 degrees.
45 degrees.
How does it flip around?
Which
The Raptor
the
land?
fly when you hit the land raptors, it'll actually
It'll flip it around?
It'll
Okay.
flip it around.
All right.
But you need to kind of know where you're orientating to.
No, I agree
so
that. How do I
I
change
would
the
do a
view?
2-finger drag and see if you can.
Oh, you
swipe.
can do that.
Yeah. 2-finger drag. There you go. Oh, there it is. Oh, you got
Oh,
it.
well, this is a problem.
It's behind you. Well, no, just rotate. Rotate left. Come left.
Well, I'm waiting.
All right, so those of you who are watching at home, I want to see in the comments below, do you think Corey nails it or he blows
This is a
up?
giant problem right here.
I am going to go with
This is a pure test flight, by the way.
it is. I'm going to say he blows it. I'm going to say he blows up. I'm going to say he gets close, but he blows up. My money's on that. Okay, so some of the other nice features about the game. Obviously, you can toggle on and off the different views. You can show the forces. You can show the HUD, which is that little internal box down below, which gives your angles. And you need that,
45
obviously,
degrees.
to safely guide the
45
aircraft.
degrees, people. 45 degrees.
But the rest is fairly simple. It's pretty much an up and down aim game. Might even be fun as a drinking game, maybe.
Problem. The problem, chat.
No, you're
YouTube.
good. You're lined up. Now the difference is I've noticed that you have to get just below
Yeah, but I'm too far away, I think.
1K ref. No, I think you got it. I think you're gonna be in good shape. It'll move. It'll hustle.
Oh, no, I'm basically falling like a brick right now.
That's
I'm going to land off site, but just, you know.
I would go Raptors land now.
I hit the landing ramp.
There you go.
Right now.
Oh, I called it. Oh, well, yeah, that's gonna.
We're going to land over here. See, I knew they just wanted to work on it later, so let's just skip the middleman.
Uh-oh.
Wait.
Uh-oh.
Oh, the
Is it going
view.
over? It's going over! It's going over! Am I gonna win? I'm gonna win! Kaboom!
I lit him up again. I lit him up again. Well, damn.
Well, there you go. That is it. So anyhow, go out. So, live. What do you think there, Corey? What do you think
I
about
think it's cool. It's super cool. Yeah, it's if you've tried some of the other types of games like this that like there's one for the space shuttle. I can't remember who makes that one.
FSIM.
FSIM makes one that's kind of like landing the old space shuttle orbiter, you know,
Yes.
gliding
It's
it down
called
and landing it
F-Sim
on the space shuttle landing facility over
Yep.
in Florida. How sensitive and not arcadey that game is kind of like this one too, right? It gives you a good feel of everything really is kind of going on. It shows you a lot of thrust or rather drag vectors in here. It's pretty cool. I like it. I mean, being the first time there, that's nice. Yeah, no, I like it. It's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
So look, this is the type of reviews we might be doing in the future. This is stuff that we're just looking into. I thought this was a fantastic game, especially if you're into the space community. It's worth a look for everybody involved. I'm impressed with it, especially for the fact that, you know what, if X-Plane and Laminar Research want to turn around and throw something in your lap for free, by all means, let them do it, because it's no loss to you. It's only 3.7 gigs on your iPad or your Android device. And I thought it's thoroughly entertaining and a way better way to kill hours of time trying to perfect your landing technique.
Yeah, why not?
Just my 2
I mean,
cents.
for being interested in space and trying to follow SpaceX, what they're doing, it's something fun, right? I mean, why not? And
Sure.
it's free, so.
So with that said, guys, remember, like, subscribe, follow us, and by all means, if you want to see more live Android and app reviews on the Apple App Store, let us know, because these are pretty easy to do, and they're a ton of fun for us, because the next one I'll have to try out kind of blindfolded, as they say in the business. Fun times.
Fun times.
Fun times. And with that said, I think it's time to move into our next topic, which would be... What was your first one that you're going to do?
I guess we talk about the SLS.
The SLS, baby.
Yep.
There you go.
Cool.
NASA.
Yeah, so basically, if you guys haven't been keeping track of what NASA's been doing with space, future space travel, they've been working on something called the SLS rocket, and just over the weekend they tested the core stage of this very large launch vehicle, and basically. We do have some video of it. They tested it not in their Florida facility, but man, actually, where was it? Where it was tested?
That was Louisiana?
It's their engine test stand. Wow, now I'm
Yes.
Mississippi. Excuse me. Stennis Space Center over in St. Louis, Mississippi.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll bring it up. Mike's gonna bring it up here in just a second. But basically, what they were trying to do was they had it's a very large booster with 4 engines, and some of these engines are leftover leftover engines from the space shuttle program that have been repurposed and a bit tweaked to make fit on this new thing here. And what the SLS, what are they trying to do with this thing? They're basically trying to get back to the moon,
Right.
but then also set up a bit of a presence there, and then a waypoint to maybe do some other things later. So while we were just talking about SpaceX, and SpaceX is really focused on right now Mars, technically, right, going to Mars. SLS and NASA have partnered with private industry to let SpaceX and other private operators go a bit further into space. But really, SLS for NASA is working on get back to the moon, make a presence there, and make it kind of a rest stop in a way to go other places. So this is their first main test of the main core, as we said, and they've tested all the components in this core stage separately, and all those were successful tests. But now they want to put them all together, and of course it was quite a spectacle. So I know you got some. Oh, you're showing some there? Yeah, nice.
I am showing some
yeah,
video.
showing some of the gimbaling of the main boosters there. Those are. Let me pull it up for you.
Here we go.
think those are, yeah, they're RS-25 engines by Aerojet Rocketdyne,
Yes.
and they've been repurposed. Like I said, some of them repurposed from Space Shuttle program.
Because that's when I saw them first time. I thought they look very familiar.
Yep. Yep. And so Mike and I were watching this over the weekend as it was live streaming from Stennis over there in Mississippi. And they had a bit of delay. They were supposed to launch or start the test at, I think, 4 or 5 p.m. Central. And they had a bit of delay. But again, one thing that they emphasized a few times, right? This is a test, not a demo. They're testing this first time as a hot fire for all the engines together. They've done hot fires for single boosters and things as well. But here's the test. The test was set to run 8 minutes in total. And it got just about 250 seconds into that test. But I mean, look at this. I'll stop talking for a second while you...
That reminds me of shuttle days.
So cool. One thing that you may not know is if you haven't been to a launch of a very large rocket, solid rocket boosters or boosters this big, this large, it's more than just something you see like that. You can feel the power of the boosters and the amount of thrust coming out of these things from miles away. And
Many miles.
Super cool, very cool. It's an emotional experience.
You know what's different though when you watch a SpaceX launch, and unless the wind is right, a SpaceX rocket could go up and it'll be silent. An Atlas and a Delta, you'll probably get some rumble. A shuttle, 9 times out of 10, you felt the shuttle. You could feel it literally vibrate around you, and the windows of your car and the windows of your home would flex a little bit in the proper environment.
I mean, one thing to keep in mind too, right? This is liquid fueled engines here, and the SLS, or sorry, excuse me, Space Shuttle program, they had liquid fuel from the orbiter itself, but on the two sides there was those solid rocket boosters, and those were interesting in the fact that, right, once you light the solid rocket boosters, you're kind of going.
Well, there was
right?
no way
That's
to shut
how
them
they
off.
work. It's a chemical reaction. It's solid fuel. It's lit. It's going, and you're along for the ride. So some of these liquid fuel ones, which those were right there as well. They can shut them down early. They can throttle them up. They can throttle them down. Especially for these tests, they're doing exactly those things. And they get. I think the guy I was watching, he said they captured 80 terabytes of data or something ridiculous.
That's
something
a lot of data.
Crazy, and he was quite excited. He was one of the engineers, and they had hosting it, and it was good. I mean, the thing I guess I'll say, if you guys haven't heard of SLS before, one thing to certainly point out, right? The SLS program is really far behind as far as NASA's timeline. It's way over budget. But one thing I would like to point, and then I'll go to you, Mike, of course, is that the purpose of SLS, well, initially when I was thinking and read about SLS was, okay, you have SLS from NASA, and it's a very large rocket. SpaceX is also developing their BFR, their Big Falcon rocket.
Right.
Why are there two?
Well,
and they serve different purposes. And you actually want to hit off? You want to take all of that?
Well, I mean, because kind of interesting because
Yes,
having now watched, I would say over 300 maybe or 200 space launches between the Atlas program testing, the Delta, the Dragon Heavy, the Dragons, all the shuttle program for I think from the last 64 shuttle launches I've witnessed just about all of them. And the difference is I know that there was a lot of competition when Atlas was on the forefront about just lifting power. And really SpaceX, no one had won the SpaceX prize yet. So there was companies really trying to achieve getting to that, what was it, 1,000, was it 100K? Or something like low Earth orbit, and then once basically Musk got his gears involved and put all of his energy into it, they've developed phenomenal rockets. Matter of fact, there's going to be one going up at 9:18 tomorrow morning, and then I think another one the following day.
Yeah, they have just to interject there. They have 53 planned launches. SpaceX, this is just SpaceX. 53 planned launches this year, one of which has already happened successfully.
And also, if you're watching, first time watcher, we will be covering those, and if the ones that we can in a different way. We're not just going to be sitting there live with a SpaceX, backfeed. We actually have access to a place where the launch pad is behind us, and we will be sitting on a dock, and it will be a live launch. We will actually be sitting there, bringing it to you live, and that's something that we're
work
excited.
Out those finer details, but that should be exciting.
Yeah, so that's one of the things. So when I know these two competing space platforms were getting together, I know that there was a lot of idiosyncrasies in the fact that a lot of people thought that the SLS rocket was going to use such outdated technology, they really weren't sure that it could compete in today's modern space market. However, we pretty much had to sell all of our seats that we were having for the space shuttle because let's recap here. The shuttle retired early.
2011, yeah.
2011 is when it retired, but it was supposed to, each airframe was supposed to be able, I think, to go through another 60 to 80 cycles on the actual airframe. So the shuttle program actually, they phased it out way earlier than they could have. And the anticipation was that whatever was in NASA's back pocket was going to pick up the slack. And it never really happened.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and it just so happens this past May was the first time Americans launched back into space on American soil. This is May 2020, which was a fantastic thing for the space program.
Yep.
What do you
Launch
think?
America.
Huh?
Launch America.
Launch America.
Yeah, no, it's super cool. I mean, obviously, to be a someone who lives where I'm in Florida, right? Live in Florida. Yeah, we're in Florida.
Yep. Rockets go
it's
that
something.
way.
Yeah, it's something that
Literally.
as I talk to people that I know or that were from here and they move away, they talk that in the way that the news wherever they have moved. I know some people in Wyoming, some people in Montana, some people in California. It's just not a thing that news covers, and being from Florida, it's just kind of, and being near the Space Coast, as the East Coast is called, is just part of what we know about and keep track of. I mean, from my house, which is not on the East Coast, I can still see the launches. I can still see the rocket. I can't hear them from where I am, but you can certainly still see them on a day when the clouds are not in the way.
I literally just walk in my backyard.
It's just cool. It never gets old.
There. Yeah.
And that's why we're covering this now. Is if you guys don't already follow this kind of stuff, this stuff is cool. It's stuff that hopefully shapes the future of everybody, not just science and exploration, but it's cool. And so there you go.
Well, we've been involved in aviation. I've been involved in aviation for almost 15 years, and I've been flying helicopters, airplanes, all that other stuff.
Yep.
And so space, being close to the space program, is almost like being close to your heart because it is the baddest, fastest, highest flying machinery on the face of the planet.
We've been up in aircraft,
yep,
and seen launches live while we've been up.
Yep.
We've been away from the restricted zone. If you guys know about how that all works, we're obviously where we are where we're allowed to be. But to also just be flying in an aircraft or a helicopter and just literally say, oh, it's about time. How about you turn the aircraft to the east? Watch that launch go up. It's
Speaking
cool.
about tests, though,
so cool.
I've been in a hangar at the airport before, and about, I want to say, was it 5 years now, when they were doing refueling on one of the first Dragons for SpaceX, and this is before they even made them reusable.
Yeah.
When it actually blew up on the pad.
Yeah, we could hear that.
Hear it. I was in a hangar,
away,
huge hangar with about 20 helicopters in it, and at the time, the entire building shook.
Yep.
And things on the walls rattled, and we all looked around and we said,
that's not supposed to happen.
That's not supposed to happen. We all knew immediately that there was something wrong with the Cape, and it only took a few minutes for us to just poke our heads outside, look up, and see the big billow of smoke and whatnot going.
Yeah.
And then to come to find out that it actually blew up on the pad, which was a big setback for SpaceX. But good to see that didn't happen for NASA. That's great for their SLS program.
Of course, yeah.
And it would be great to actually hear those engines roar again, because no offense to SpaceX, but your rockets are a little quiet. They can be louder. If you're into that type
better, louder rockets.
We need louder rockets.
Don't care about how much you get to low Earth orbit. Make it loud.
So did you know that actually the one thing that the Space Coast offers is it is one of the few counties on the face of the planet, Brevard County, that offers every form of transportation known to man, including space travel.
Wow.
That is
wow. Drop some knowledge on you.
It's not supposed to be a knowledge bomb thing. It's just I'm telling you that it's kind of interesting that there's only a couple of places in the world that can lay claim to that. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's been there's places that are trying to get spaceport designation.
Well, one's Mexico, right? New Mexico.
Yeah. Well, Richard Branson and his Virgin Galactic, they're out in the desert west, and they're doing different kinds of vehicles. But yeah, they're doing it too. They just had some news the other day, but
what was their news?
They launched a rocket from a plane.
That's right. That's correct.
And that rocket was launched from high altitude from a big Virgin 747.
That's right. Yeah.
And it launched into orbit, I think 9 or 10 CubeSats, and it was successful. That was their first launch of that. I don't recall the name. If you could maybe pull it up, but that's pretty cool too. So Virgin Galactic, or no, I think call them Virgin Orbit, something else. I think they're changing the name just for that. But they're launching CubeSats, and that was successful too. So there's a lot of stuff going on.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to take a look at them because actually we've been a little one focused. I'm very partial to SpaceX's program. I do follow NASA quite a bit too, but SpaceX is probably the one that I'm the biggest fan of because what's better than watching a SpaceX rocket launch is watching one come back down.
Yeah, everybody was really awestruck by that. And it is really cool. And we've seen that live in person too.
Yes.
Because you see the rockets go up, right? As you can imagine. Okay, you see the rocket fly up, it's pretty bright, you can see it disappears. Cool. And then you look at your phone, you're like, oh, the first stage is coming back down, and you look over the horizon, wait, and you see them fire the landing fire.
That's crazy.
It's landing. The rocket's landing right there.
Right, it's there. Right there.
So
right
cool.
there.
So cool.
Excellent. Well, you know what also? Why don't you take us out of this segment, and I'll bring in the next segment. It's something that's exciting that happens here in Brevard and actually Volusia County here in Florida. So why don't you go ahead and close it out?
Which one you go to?
Well, you selected me.
What do you want me to go to?
I wanted you to close out that segment.
Oh, I mean, okay. Yeah, we're going to move on to the next thing. We're talking about some space today. We're going to get some games as well. But as always, right, we would appreciate if you can like the videos, share it with your friends and family if you like that stuff. I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah, like, share, subscribe. You guys know how it goes.
You guys know how it
But it
goes.
would be much appreciated.
Like,
help
subscribe,
us out quite a
follow,
bit.
that whole thing.
As we're trying to grow the channel and bring you guys more stuff. And as we mentioned, right, we're also going to do on some more kind of excursion kind of thing. So
right,
we'll be giving you guys some different kind of content.
So here's the funny part. So the reason why we just cut to my stupid face just sitting there looking like a moron, because he's got the other control deck over there. So he selected my camera like, what are you doing on me?
I don't know.
That's part of the not your average, folks. This is never going to be average. It's going to be way below average, but way above.
Oh, no.
You have no idea.
It's entertainment value and informational.
It is. All right, now I'm going to take control. So I'm going to introduce another topic.
Go to you.
I'm taking me now. I'm taking it. Taking it all the way. Because what's going on this coming up, what is it going to be? The last weekend of January here in Florida is also going to be the Rolex 24. And like I said, in the build up to that, we are going to bring you our interpretation of what it's like to attend the Rolex. We're going to actually have some edited footage. We're going to do some live streaming from there. So stay tuned to the channel, like, subscribe, follow, because it's going to be exciting and we love going to it. However,
it is good fun.
The entry list has been confirmed, and one of the most exciting things about this year's Rolex is the Porsche Cup cars are back, and over 20 of them in number, which is fantastic for the series. This year, Porsche is actually dumped out of, I think it's, the GT Le Mans class, but they are going to be back in 2 years when they build a better competitor. However, there's some notable changes at the top of the racing classes here for this 2021 Rolex. That being, Chip Ganassi is going to stay in the Cadillac. JDC Miller Motorsports is there, but Wayne Taylor Racing makes an extraordinary change into the Acura, which I could not even understand. However, I think all eyes are going to be on two other cars. That's going to be the Willen Engineering Cadillac DPI with Chase Elliott, the current champion, on board, and also the Action Express Ally Cadillac with Jimmy Johnson, who's making the jump to IndyCar this year. So that's going to be kind of exciting. Also, to see one of my favorites back is going to be Mazda Motorsports and another Acura. So another interesting note is that Penske dropped. He's not competing this year.
Oh, really?
No. So the two Acura cars have been taken over by two different teams.
Oh, yeah.
However, in another interesting move, there's more LMP2 cars than ever, 10 cars.
I see that, yeah.
Usually there's about 6.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a couple of Orecas, there's a Dallara, there's a
Ligers.
Liger. So that's
quite a few Oreca cars, actually.
Yeah, that's going to be neat. And then last but not least, we have 1, 2, 3 other Ligers coming in. 4, 5 other Ligers, which is going to be interesting to see how those do in the LMP3 class, which are actually really surprising cars because, believe it or not, when you see them on the track, you're a little taken back with their speed because you know they're not as fast in the straightaways, but they're definitely fast in the corners. Then after that, we have GT Le Mans, which will see the Corvettes challenging
C8s,
once again.
C8s,
which
those
let's
got Jordan Taylor in that one there.
Yeah. So these are the times of there's one thing with everyone going to smaller, less normally aspirated engines with a lot of turbochargers and superchargers and so on and so forth. There's one thing that remains consistent throughout. the Corvettes and the Cadillacs are probably the most amazing cars on the track. Now, the Corvettes have gone down a little bit in their noise because they went to a flat plane crank V8 last season. However, the Cadillacs, you always know where they are on track because they make a racket.
It is, yeah.
They are super loud, so that's kind of interesting to see. I'll be looking out for those. Another one that I'm actually really interested in looking at this year is going to be the BMW M8 GTE.
Yep.
So this is going to be, I think, the second appearance for these cars with Ray Hall, which has got 2 entries, and of course he's going to have an all-star team of actual winners in those cars. So that's going to be fantastic.
There's only 2 of those in GT Le Mans, yeah.
Correct. And then there's a no longer Porsche factory sponsored, but there will be a 911 RSR 19, and that'll be run by WeatherTech, which is always a team to watch at the Rolex. These guys are fast. And then last but not least, in the GT Daytona class, we have Paul Miller, who has been fantastic. Vassar Sullivan, which now have 2 entries again in the Lexus, which was fast. But now the host of 911 GT3Rs that'll be storming in. It's going to be fantastic to see all these cars. So what are you most excited to see at the Rolex this year, Corey?
You know, it's always cool to see like the top class, like DPIs, any of those cars that are just kind of unlimited. But I don't know, man. Honestly, I've always been impressed with those, but I always like seeing the GT cars. Honestly, it's kind of for me. I mean, for having done some racing, it's fun. It might sound a bit strange to any races out there, right? But it's great to be in first, right? But it's kind of fun to be in second because you get to chase down the leader.
Oh, yeah.
You get to have, you instead of just defend the whole time,
right?
You get to actually like chase somebody down and analyze their moves, see where you're a bit faster than they are. You get to do some of that. So
sure.
And so I like to see like good close racing, as everybody a lot of times does, right? Seeing some of those F1 races in the past, or any race, right, where it just so happens that everybody's kind of spaced out, nothing really happens. The race is fun, right? There's just not much action. So going down here and see GT Le Mans, there's 6 cars there, cool. But then you see GT Daytona, there's 20 cars there. There's some actual stuff going on there. There's decent field, and of course, if you guys aren't aware, also as well, that as we go through all these classes all race the 24 at the same time on the same track, same format. So also having been on a track with different classes of cars in my past, it adds an extra dynamic to have cars of different classes that you have to deal with. You're faster than some classes and you're slower than some other classes, and that adds to the excitement of having to weave your way through the field and track people down and stuff. And
you were there the year that the Ferrari rear-ended the back of, I think it was one of the GT Cup cars, and it was a massive
coming out of the inside, the infield,
and the infield coming out of the out of the first
we were in the
dog
grandstands.
Yeah, we were there, and that was a. So we haven't seen one of those crashes in a long time.
That was scary too. Yeah,
that was pretty scary. And now what we used to be able to do is at the Rolex. The one thing that's more disappointing than before is that the Rolex was the one series about, I guess it was until about 3 years ago when cars in the NASCAR events started to actually eat the fencing along the start-finish line, where they started to do this, where they started pulling people back from the actual walls and the nets.
Yeah.
Because we used to actually be able to walk all the way down and lay up against the screening underneath the start-finish stand, and you could literally put your camera from your cell phone through the fence and get video of cars passing underneath you almost 200 miles an hour.
Yeah, not that that's a great idea.
No. It was fun,
also,
though.
having been on the track, you don't want to hit anything at those speeds.
Yeah, nothing at all.
But yeah, it was interesting to just get up a bit closer to the fence.
Yes.
I mean, you don't have to look too far into motorsport history to see accidents of things hitting the fence and hitting the people.
That's also true.
So, but it's motorsport. It's managing risk, as we would say in other industries.
It's part of the thrill.
Yep.
So when we're there, some of the things that I think we're going to be focusing on, we're going to be taking all our equipment, 2 cameras, microphones, quite a bit of equipment to see. Actually, we're also going to be comparing at the same time the performance of the GH5 and capturing the Panasonic and what
some other stuff. Yep.
The Sony
the
ZV-1. That's going to be part of the actual exercise as well. And also we're going to be experimenting with some sound. So you're going to actually see us try to figure out what's the best way to capture sound in a loud environment. That's going to be part of the other test.
Do we have a shotgun mic?
Kind of. We kind of do, but we're going to work on getting a better one. We're going to see if that gets in here in time.
Anyway.
The other part of it is it's the fanfare. Now, we know that COVID's going to be part of the scene this year, which kind of sucks, but they've already said that there's going to be a limited amount of people. Now, last year they say 40,000 people attended, which is far shy of what the actual Daytona 500 brings in. It's the same race course. So we're gonna pre-order. Cool. It'll be neat. Cool. Thanks, Christina Richards. It'll be cool to see. Thanks.
Yeah.
So we're excited about that. And the other part of it
Excellent.
is that the transition from day to night. Now,
Yeah.
this is very tricky because on average, our daily temps this time of year here in Florida are between 70 and 75 degrees.
It's been cold this year.
Been very cold, okay? But when that
Been
track
cold.
goes from actual warm temperatures to cool, the track dampens up because the ocean is not too far away.
Yep.
And you can feel a large deal of humidity build
Yep.
up around anything that's got any temperature surface difference other than warm. And it happens rather quick. But even better is the transition as the faster cars have to make their way through these slower cars, which
Oh,
should
yeah.
be very interesting.
Yep.
And also, of course, fingers crossed for good weather. That's another comment from the chat, which is
Yeah.
amazing.
I don't know how long we'll stay. I know one of the other times it's quite difficult for racers and teams is the daybreak. Making it through the night is pretty difficult, but then, just having to deal with the change of sleep patterns when the sun starts coming up and you got to start waking up again and you've been up for
Hours
nearly
running
a day
cars.
and a half
Yeah.
probably. But we'll see.
And as far as the absolute for the drivers is this pushes them and the cars to the limits. That's one of the other amazing things. And it's one of the first
does.
races on American soil in an international competitive scene for the year. So it's always a great kickoff.
It is quite good, yeah.
We're looking good for a great event. Yeah, we're going to have to wear a mask. It's going to be COVID approved, but
Yep.
we're going to go out there and enjoy it. EB says, it's always cold for that weekend. I know. And it has
yes.
been.
EB, thanks for joining the chat. And
Thank you.
yes,
Yes,
I
it has
don't
been
know. Yeah,
really
it's-
cold.
It has been cold, yeah.
Actually, the two times that you couldn't make it, the days that it was like 80 degrees and stayed warm, and I could be in a t-shirt and shorts the entire time, you missed those years, and those were the two best warm years. So every time you come, it's cold.
Talking to me or her?
You!
Oh, me. Yeah. No, I know. When I worked it and everything, every time I'm there, it's freaking cold.
He's like he's like, what is it?
I know.
The Frost King. For the love of God. So
What's
anyhow,
up,
folks, like, subscribe, follow. If you do, you're going to be able to join us on one of these great excursions to go see the Rolex. And we're super excited to be there. We're super excited to bring it to you guys. And the more follows, the more likes, the generally more stuff like that we're going to be able to cover. So thanks
fun.
for that. We appreciate it. And after that, I have to once again bring up the fact that someone played a game that I was pretty interested in that I didn't know I was interested in.
Yes.
And they had a lot of fun this weekend. And that someone wasn't me. It was this guy.
Okay, fine. Yes. So you might be able to bring it up over there. But basically, there was a game that was I got into a beta test. I was lucky enough to get a beta key for a game called Boundary. And it's in a quick one sentence, it's like Call of Duty in space. And we'll play some footage for you here, but I wasn't able to capture any footage of the test. I wasn't actually sure if I could do that or not, but we have some we can show you that's been officially released. And I'll let some of it play, and I'll kind of talk over a bit of it too. But it has a pretty decent variety. As far as gameplay goes, right? And we talk about gunplay in first-person shooters. How is the gunplay? How's the mobility? How is the let's say level design? But in this case, it's three-dimensional. And initially, off top of my face of it, right when I first started playing the game, it ran pretty well. Again, it is a test, and they had limited amount of people that were in it. But this was a test, kind of a network server test. And it ran pretty well overall. The gunplay was quite good. Once I figured out what guns kind of I was more comfortable with. I'm kind of a more mid-range, short-range kind of player in first-person shooters. A lot of the mechanics you guys, if you play FPS games, you'll be familiar with. Capture the flag. There's assault, that kind of stuff. There's pure deathmatch game modes. There was 4 game modes in the test.
A lot of gunfire in space.
And one thing that kind of set it apart, which you'll see, I think, in this thing here, is obviously you have weapons that you hold, but the pack you're attached to also has different mechanics. Like maybe it has some stuff for mobility, maybe it has extra guns, or maybe it can launch EMPs or grenades. So you have to outfit your character, and just like in Call of Duty, you get to choose a loadout, and you get to go into the battle with that loadout, and you may be able to pick stuff up as you're playing. But overall, I felt the gunplay was quite good. There was some network problems, but again, it's a beta test. I mean, I guess what I'm kind of getting at as an FPS player is it's something I'll keep track of. There are a decent amount of games that come out that you maybe test or look at, and they're they're okay. You know, they're not great. I mean, Mike and I, we played some Call of Duty Warzone when it first came out,
Right.
and it had its problems, of course. A lot to do with how popular it was. But this game was pretty is pretty good.
So is this based? It's based off the same engine that Warzone was done on, correct?
I don't know actually. This guy's gonna do some talking in a moment.
It looks pretty cool. I mean, to me, once he shares the link to me and he goes, "Oh, by the way, this is coming up. Maybe you can get a key." And I was
yeah,
like,
I found that the same day. So I think I found it Friday. I found this article, and I'm like, "Oh man, they're giving away some keys." I sign up, and then I had dinner, I think, or something, and then I sent it to Mike. I'm like, "Hey man, I just signed up for this earlier. I just got the email reminding me that I got an email from it and got in." And then of course it had closed like 30 minutes before. So, you know, crap. One thing I noticed in the game, some of this stuff here is that the levels themselves, well, he's talking about gun customizations, which is, of course, is definitely part of this. You don't have cookie cutter loadouts. You can change out the barrel and the magazine and the sights and the grips. And they all have effects on performance of the gun, as you can see there. Another thing I thought was pretty interesting was semi-destructible environments, which I know there's some gameplay of it here too.
like
but
you could destroy walls?
Yeah, some of the walls are destructible. While there's a few places on one map in particular that I remember where you're trying to capture the area, and you're in a enclosed space, and you're capturing it, and you think just by being in there you're capturing it, and then you think, okay, I'm good, and then it tells you you get a ping, enemies nearby,
right?
And then you might get some rounds come through the wall because they're guessing where you are, and they can still hit.
Well, I mean, because most space stations are thin; they're not meant to survive like.
And that's it. That's it exactly. A lot of the environment you see, they're not like giant buildings.
Right.
They're structures you would find probably in a normal space station, as far as their design and like size and their robustness.
Right.
One thing to really point out as you look at this footage, that really kind of points it home is the game is 3D. Obviously, you're in space, right? But I want to point that out to say, because that's a huge part. Where normally be it, CSGO, you talk about Team Fortress 2 if people play that, you talk about obviously Call of Duty, Warzone, it's all a three-dimensional world, but you're on a planet, obviously, right?
I would imagine this is going to be something that they're looking to create for VR, maybe?
I don't know. I don't know about the VR plans, but I mean, the three-dimensional aspect of it wasn't totally new. There have been things that have dealt with, space shooters before.
Right.
But this is a pretty good implementation, that I thought anyway. And it really adds another depth of tactics. Right? If you know where the choke points of your enemy would be and coming through, now it's 3D. I mean, they could just fly above the whole thing and shoot down on you, and totally valid tactic, possibly.
That's cool.
So it was cool. Yeah.
I am excited to try it. So, does it support RTS because ray tracing? Because I didn't see.
I didn't. So my graphics card doesn't support RTS.
Mhm.
When I went into the settings, look at graphics, I didn't see that anywhere in there. It may be something. I can't imagine they would not be thinking of implementing it later. If you know what I mean.
Right.
So, yes, maybe. I don't know. For me, again, I don't have an RTX card.
It might be interesting to see that if that's something that they're really going to do. And now it looks like it's going to be PC, PlayStation 4.
I don't know if it's cross-platform either. Because, yeah, one of the big tests there was PS4 and PC over the weekend.
Right. Going to be interesting to see. I mean,
so, yeah.
for me, space shooters, I guess, when's the last time
Steam,
that there was...
though, if you're a PC person, so just go check it out on Steam.
Is it on Steam?
Yeah.
It's
not out yet, but yeah.
I'm just kind of wondering, well, when's the actual release date?
It was earlier, but it changed. I'm
thinking about, what was it? Battlefield, I think, was the first game that I can remember that had destructible environments, and
yeah, it was buildings. You could shoot them with tanks, and the whole building would come down.
And buildings would come down,
and you get hurt obviously inside, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, it's so cool!" But I'm dead. But it's so cool.
And there was another one where you were a miner on some sort of planet where you would be able to blow up the buildings and drill through the walls and whatnot. Like, oh god, it was like Red Planet or something like that. And you were on some V-Force or something, and that was fantastic. But destructible environments would be fantastic, considering that it looked like it was going to be something in games for a long time, and then it kind of dropped off in the middle of nowhere.
Mhm.
No one really readdressed it for a while. So
It's
interesting to
literally
see.
saying 2020, which doesn't help me at all.
Huh, well, 2020.
What I found out, yeah.
Well, Miss.
Yeah, it's 2021. In case you guys didn't pick up on that, as far as the header and your computer you're watching it on and your phone you're watching it on, all that. It's 2021 now.
2021. But of course.
So yeah.
So overall, if you didn't get it for free this weekend, would it have been a game that you would have purchased? Hot seat moment.
Depends on the price. For me, when I talk about like if I want to buy a game or not, I want to look at how long I'm going to play it, and then like its depth. What actually does it offer? If this game, so basically what I played was quick play matchmaking is how it worked over the beta test.
Okay.
And you played one of 4 game modes on I think 2 or 3 different maps. If that's the game, and they already said there's going to be more to it than that, but if there's, in a way, I mean, for me, some people really like multiplayer, and that's like their thing. They want to just do for FPS multiplayer, boom, good. I kind of like story mode. I'm in a game like this that has some kind of a story, even a short campaign would be pretty cool. But if you're gonna pay $60-65, depending on what package you buy, I kind of wish it had like maybe a campaign or I don't know, maybe something else. I mean, if it was to go on Steam and was only multiplayer standalone, it was $50, maybe $40.
Right.
Yeah, probably.
Right.
It looks fun if it's got the backing of like maybe a bit of more robust leveling system or some ranks or something. That would be kind of cool. But
see, for me, I guess it would be like recently I downloaded Battlefield 5 and I did it on the Xbox because I have the Ultimate Game Pass. And now EA titles are available through it. And I started playing it and I was like, ooh, shooters just haven't really been that fantastic as of late. They've kind of fallen into this very stale environment where you're either a Battlefield fan or you're a Call of Duty fan.
Yep.
And it looks like this seems to fall somewhere right in the middle. It's just taking the two of those, collapsing them together into a space continuation of what was Call of Duty's space maps, right?
Well, let me ask you too. Like you and I played Warzone.
Yes.
Warzone was free to play.
Yeah.
If Warzone wasn't free to play and it was only that multiplayer thing that we played, right?
Right.
Where it was battle royale, but also the one with cash. I forgot the other mode, the other main game. mode.
Yeah.
If
Like
it was just those
Payday
two,
or something.
would you have bought it?
No. Yeah, I'm going to tell you why. Because what ruined FPS games for me, or even over the shoulder shooters, was PUBG. And when I say ruined, I mean ruined in a good way. Is that I never really knew what battle royale features there were before in a game that I really enjoyed. But the one thing that I've always enjoyed about PUBG is that you all landed in the same environment. Nobody had any advantage, and it's basically what you picked up on the ground is what you got yourself involved with any sort of combat with.
Yeah.
Now, the second thing that I really enjoyed was very Arma-esque, which Arma is a very scientifically based survival shooter, and Arma is a very stringent simulation-based battle game in warfare. It's something very similar to Squads, which I was
going to ask you about Squads, yeah.
Because Squads we used to play together.
Squad just got tanks and stuff.
So we got to look at Squads again.
Now. Yeah,
that's going to be something.
They made some good improvements.
I guess it was about 4. Yeah, Roscoe is a little sleepy. He's so sleepy.
Oh, yeah, can you see him?
He is. He woke up a little bit. The interesting part there is that we were actually avidly playing Squads about 4 years ago when it actually came out, and we were enjoying it. And then we got caught up with something else. I forget what we got. Maybe it was Warships again. Warships had another update.
Destiny, I don't know. No, Destiny was over by then. I don't remember. Yeah, I mean, games come go, but yeah, but Squads makes a good improvements.
Yep. So look for that. Maybe we'll have to revisit Squads one night in both of our feeds, which should be very fun.
Today's 18th.
Today is the 18th. Oh, the F-15 comes out for Flight Simulator.
Today.
Yeah, well, we can always download it and do it tomorrow.
Might be the next video.
But we do flying the flight sim. We have to get this bad boy involved.
F-15, Microsoft Flight Sim, first fighter jet for Flight Sim.
That will be good. Fantastic and excited for that. All right, so why don't you close out this episode?
This is the whole episode?
What? Yeah, just close the whole thing out.
Cool.
You can close it all out.
Yeah, cool.
I don't care.
Roscoe's up and he's gonna. Yep.
He's back in
himself. Yeah. So thanks again for joining us. We talked a bit about some space stuff. We talked obviously about the SpaceX game, which I failed miserably at, but you should try. It's free. It's fun. Have at it. The link's below. We talked about the Rolex. Obviously, that was something exciting for us coming up. We're gonna bring you guys along. There's more to come for that, right? That'll be exciting. Join us for that stuff too. The SLS, a little bit of SLS and NASA news.
Yep.
That's something we'll continue to cover as that continues to develop. Well, maybe we'll post something that finds out also like when it shut down a bit early, like why did it shut down? If was any good data there? Nothing catastrophic happened, but we'll maybe keep you guys informed of that too. And then of course picked up the game we just talked about, which again is fun. If there's another test and I can actually get some footage, I'll do that for you guys. It was fun enough that I'll try it again. And honestly, if I find another place that gives out keys for maybe a subsequent test before it's released, that was a network test, so maybe not, but we'll see. Then we'll try to post it somewhere, and everybody can try to get on that, maybe the Discord or something, and get on it in a timely fashion, and maybe a few other people can join us in there.
Ooh, Left 4 Dead. We've had a comment. Left 4 Dead by EB. Ooh, that was always a good game.
Left 4 Dead.
Oh yeah, maybe that was the one that took
Left
over.
Left 4 Dead
back
2
then.
was good.
Left 4 Dead 2.
I mean,
that was good.
Games, yeah.
So remember, folks, if you're out there watching at home, like, subscribe, follow, join us. We're gonna be back with some more stuff. We're back tomorrow. We're back Wednesday. What day are we back? Wednesday, we're back live here in the studio, so we got more stuff for you to do, and it'll be exciting. So with that said, I'm done.
Yep. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, have fun, comment, let us know if there's something you really want to talk about or something you think is cool. I mean, whatever, guys. But take it easy, stay safe, have fun.
Take care, guys. See ya.
Catch you.
Bye-bye.